And Richard Sherman one-on-one is just not going to run with him. They've had those Watkins.
Garoppolo airs it out. Sanders downfield is overthrown. And now with 1:33 left, it's 4th and
that play at the end of the game.
Frank Clark, podium 2.
Sorry. I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
What route do you think it was?
Was it a post route?
How close were you to grabbing the ball? Did you feel like you were a step away?
What did you see? How close you got to get?
I was up top, right there.
How close? How close you got? So don't push. Next question.
I mean, you feel that you guys have victory?
We did have a moment. We lost. We had a
Kyle Easthead, podium 14.
we weren't able to finish. Great team effort, but we just didn't get the job done.
What changed in the second half?
They played good in the fourth quarter.
Good job.
Sammy Watkins, podium 5.
So that's a wrap. NFL season is over. It's in the books. Super Bowl 54 is done. Overall, the game was cool towards the fourth quarter. If I had to rewatch it, the first 3 quarters isn't worth it. The fourth quarter was good. Everyone thought it was going to be a shootout. Usually when you think it's going to be a shootout, it disappoints you, and it's not. The first 3 quarters, they fucked around. It felt like a regular Sunday night game. Fourth quarter, they brought it. This Super Bowl didn't have a lot of flair going into it. It was a good matchup on paper, but the story, it wasn't storyline driven like the NFL wants. They tried to make the narratives like the Shanahans, nepotism, Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan. Did the Patriots make a mistake by trading Jimmy G? Jimmy G's going to win it. For the Chiefs, it was crowning Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid winning his first Super Bowl. Congrats to them and my Kansas City people out there. And let's be honest, the Super Bowl got overshadowed by Kobe Bryant. No one really gave a fuck about this Super Bowl. Really, after that shit, everyone was like emotionally sidetracked. So the Super Bowl kind of just snuck up on you. This Super Bowl, I mean, the 49ers choked. Let's just be honest. I rooted for the 49ers in this game, picked them to win. They got away from the run game. They got away from what brought them to the dance. In the fourth quarter, Mozart, who ran all over the Packers, did nothing in the fourth quarter. 4 rushes. Kyle Shanahan choked just like he did when he was the OC for the Falcons when they were up 28-3. Same fucking choke job. They were up 20-10, and you're thinking, okay, they got it, but they got to score more and possess the ball. You're not going to hold the Chiefs to 10 points. It's a miracle that they were able to do that. Pat Mahomes had his first bad game we ever really seen, and he looked like he was choking himself. You know what I'm saying? He looked like if the Chiefs lost, that would have been the narrative. Pat Mahomes choked in his defining moment, but they found the way to turn it around because the Niners basically gave it away. As you see, Richard Sherman got burnt by Sammy Watkins. Their defense looked gassed because they just didn't have enough time to relax. They didn't have too many. They kept punting. Like their last possessions were punt, field goal, punt. They were too conservative. And I'm telling my homeboy at the Super Bowl party, I'm like, yo, Kansas City's going for it on 4th down every time. And the Niners are kicking field goals and punting. I'm like, do they not know who they're playing? Like, what the fuck are you being so conservative for? And they were just chilling. They were laid back. And I didn't understand how the game plan went. George Kittle, to me, is the all-around better tight end. They didn't give him enough opportunities. The best pass attempt that Garoppolo had to George Kittle, it got taken back. It was like a 40-yard pass down the seam. They took it back for pushing off. I didn't like the call, but they did that. Referees had some questionable calls, but I'm not going to blame the refs. The 49ers fucking choked. Now, if you get off the game, as far as commercials went, the only one that I liked was the Mountain Dew commercial with Bryan Cranston and Tracy Ellis Ross. If you didn't watch The Shining with Jack Nicholson, you probably won't be able to understand that reference. That was a cool commercial. Other than that, nothing really stood out. Now, the performance, and I said on Twitter, fire Jay-Z, fire Sean Carter. I really don't think Jay-Z had anything to do with that. I think that was just a front for the NFL, for him. Come on. And I noticed they announced Shakira and J-Lo during September, which is Latino Heritage Month. But unless you're a Latino or you like that kind of music, it just felt like a big disconnection between the audience and that performance. The presentation was phenomenal, anybody's presentation is great when you got a $2-3 million budget and you got that big stage and all of the choreography and all the dances and the outfit changes. The presentation was spectacular. The fucking music, I couldn't fuck with it. I'm not into that. You know what I'm saying? Both of them look beautiful. J-Lo looks amazing to be 51 or whatever, but I wasn't feeling it. I just was like, it ain't like, there was no guest appearances, no nothing. I was like, this is what? This is Jay-Z's first, this is his first Super Bowl halftime show. I'm like, come on, man. I wasn't feeling it. And I think a lot of people was just watching it like, okay, we're going to watch J-Lo perform songs from 20 years ago. And that's all she really could, because like I say, she hasn't really been musically inclined in a while. As a matter of fact, it's a whole nother generation of kids who probably don't even know who the fuck she was, but that's a whole nother story. Jay-Z and Beyonce are also under turmoil from white media because, what's that girl, Tommy Loren, was like, Jay-Z and Beyonce didn't stand up during the anthem. They were sitting in their seats. I'm like, you got fucking people in the stands that were sitting in their seats. I know I was sitting on my ass while I was watching it too. So, I mean, who gives a fuck? But getting back to the game, in the second half, the Niners, like I say, they had the fucking 10-point lead. They just got away from the run game. Kyle Shanahan, I think, was trying to prove a point that they made the right choice. The Patriots gave them time to Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think he was trying to make Jimmy the star. And Jimmy Garoppolo, unlike Matt Ryan, who was MVP that year they went to the Super Bowl with Atlanta, Jimmy Garoppolo has showed shades that he can really be great, but he's too inconsistent. He had 2 bad turnovers in this game. Didn't play that much better than Mahomes. Mahomes picked it up when it mattered most in the fourth quarter. But Jimmy Garoppolo, they stunk it up. They stunk it up the joint. I mean, look at the last drive in the game. With 2 minutes and some change to go, we've seen a lot of elite quarterbacks pull that off. Rodgers, Breeze, Brady. Any one of those would have got that in that situation down 4. The first play, incomplete pass. Second play, you overthrow Emmanuel Sanders by like 8 yards. This third play would have been a pick 6, but the DB dropped it. That was the third play. The fourth play, he didn't even get the fucking ball off. The pressure got in there. I was like, what the fuck is he doing? That was a really let down type of last fourth quarter attempt. We didn't even get a Hail Mary attempt. The nigga couldn't get the ball off. I'm like, and the Chiefs, I don't think Pat Mahomes should have been Super Bowl MVP. He was stunk for 3.5 quarters, 2 interceptions. They were all on him. It's just a matter of time. You just can't expect your defense to hold that offense to 10 points. It's unrealistic. It's not possible. Damian Williams, the running back, was the best running back on the field for both teams. He should have been the Super Bowl MVP. Iced the game with that crazy run play at the end for like 40 yards. He should have been MVP. But it's a quarterback league. They're trying to crown Mahomes as the next second coming of Jesus. And, Black History Month, I guess that's cool. We got a black quarterback, won the Super Bowl MVP. But, it was all about crowning Pat Mahomes. And Andy Reid got his first win. Good for Andy. But, Damian Williams should have been that MVP. We all know that. They gave Mahomes that because of the position he plays. But, yeah, the 49ers choked. As you see, Emmanuel Sanders was pissed off. He didn't want to answer questions. Richard Sherman, I didn't see Richard Sherman's post-game interview, but, Darrell Revis was like, yo, why y'all want me to go in on Sherman so bad? They finally got Sherman man-to-man, and Sammy Watkins is probably the 3rd or 4th fastest receiver on the Chiefs. It wasn't Tyreek Hill that burnt him. It wasn't Nicole Harmon. It was Sammy Watkins, which I call him sometimes Sammy Dropkins because he drops a lot of passes. But Sammy got him, And then Sherman also was responsible for the go-ahead touchdown that gave the Chiefs the lead. And he had his face in the turf, So when the dog of your defense, the leader of the defense, who is Sherman, while Quan Alexander might be better and Nick Bosa might be better for the long term, Sherman's the face of that defense. So for him to give up those 2 big plays on that drive, I think it demoralized that defense, which was already gassed. They were already tired because they kept punting the fucking ball on offense. So this was a choke job mainly on Kyle Shanahan being conservative and basically Jimmy Garoppolo not being who people thought. He isn't what you thought he was. He's cool, but he's not Tom Brady. That narrative needs to be killed. I don't think he'll ever be that elite, consistent quarterback. He's 29. He's not 22. And I just don't think he's what you think he is. He's okay, but the play calling could have been better. And like I say, George Kittle should have been used more. Deebo Samuel and Mozart, I don't know how they got away from him. He looked like Terrell Davis 2 weeks ago. and he got 4 touches in the fourth quarter. I'm like, I don't understand what the fuck were the Shanahan's thinking. But they gave it away. And give the Chiefs credit. The Chiefs did something. They were down 21 against the Texans, came back and won by 20. They were down 10 to the Titans, came back and won by 10. They were down 10 in the Super Bowl, came back and won by 11. I've never seen nobody do no shit like that. Be down by double deficits and come back and win by double digits. That's crazy. So give the Chiefs credit. And Super Bowl was okay, but at times during the game, I was kind of bored. I was half drunk, and I still was like, this game felt like it was taking forever. But you'll miss it because you can't get no football until what, September? So yeah, now I don't know what I'm gonna do on Sundays, but cool game. It is what it is. Some Niner fans are gonna bitch about the officiating. It could go both ways. The only call that I seen that I really was disgusted by was the George Kittle call. That was a great play, and they took it back for a push off. And I'm like, yeah, they kind of pick and choose when to throw flags in that situation. Who doesn't push off? But, even the power line touchdown was questionable. But when they reviewed it, it was a touchdown. So the Niners didn't get screwed. They screwed themselves, man. That bottom line.